Today, a crew of 2 Americans, 1 European, and 1 Japanese astronaut will set off on a 6-month science mission to the world's only orbiting laboratory.
At 5:49 this morning Eastern Time, NASA astronauts Shane Kimbrough, McArthur, European Space Agency astronaut Thomas Pesquet, and Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency astronaut Akihiko Hoshide will lift off from Launch Complex 39A at NASA's Kennedy Space Center as part of the agency's Commercial Crew program. This crew will relieve the 4 Crew-1 astronauts who have been living and working on station since November. This will be the first time that SpaceX reuses both a first stage and a Crew Dragon capsule. This booster supported the Crew-1 mission, and the capsule, Dragon Endeavour, flew astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley to the space station in last year's history-making Demo 2 test flight. There we have our first look inside the suit-up room at the Neil Armstrong O&C building. We can see the astronauts have gotten into their suits and are now working with SpaceX suit technicians and the closeout team, SpaceX suit closeouts for doing checks on the umbilicals for, looks like they're getting ready to get into their chairs.
This is such a historic room that anyone who walks in it, whether you're an astronaut or not, you just feel like you're catapulted in time to a period where this all began.
And there's a view of McArthur being helped by the suit technicians. She happens to be the wife of Bob Behnken, and she's going to be flying in the same spacecraft in the same seat as her husband in the pilot seat. But of course, she's got her own custom-made suit on.
Yep, all of these suits were designed in-house at SpaceX. We took safety, comfort, and style all into account. That's our commander, Shane Kimbrough, and he's basically sitting in a mock-up of the chair that he will be seated in inside Crew Dragon. So while they're seated inside Crew Dragon, they actually have an umbilical plugged into their suit that flows cool air through the suit to keep them cool and comfy, as well as communications umbilicals and power. So it's really important to make sure that we do these fit-ups here so that there really aren't any surprises once we get into Dragon capsule out on the pad.
And the helmets that they're wearing are also custom printed using 3D printing technology. So that's a really exciting technological advancement since the shuttle days. In the room shot we saw just a minute ago, and there's McArthur getting helped into her gloves in her spacesuit. But we saw, if we could take the wide shot of that room, we saw another astronaut. There it was in the foreground, number 38. That's Jessica Meir. She is a member of the pad closeout team. So we'll see her here in the suit-up room, and she'll also be headed to the white room a little later to provide crew support. And here they come, the Crew-2 astronauts taking their first steps outside before their journey to space.
I love this moment. They're now going to have the opportunity to wave goodbye from a safe distance. The distance is normal protocol for spaceflight. This is not a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. This would be in place even if we didn't have that situation going on. But I love this moment. It's a wonderful opportunity to see the astronauts get some final farewells from their friends and family members.
And we've got Shane and Megan to the right of your screen, Thomas and Aki to the left.
There's Shane's wife.
Shane and his wife posing for a socially distanced photo.
Yes.
And it looks like Bob Behnken is there in a blue polo with the son of he and McArthur. Yeah, there's a better shot of Bob, Megan, and their son. What an experience as their son to do this twice.
Get to see Dad and Mom go to space.
He's going to think this is normal the way every all kids experience.
And you can see on the license plate of that Tesla, recycle. You can't see it from this shot, but the other two Teslas in this convoy have reduce and reuse.
Oh, wow.
So the first one is
pretty cool.
reduce, the second one is reuse, and this one is recycle.
ONC departure on schedule.
So there's the convoy there on your screen. They just passed behind us just moments ago on their way to pad 39A. Now, if you're wondering what the crew is listening to in the first car with Shane and Megan, I'm not sure which one they're listening to this instant, but they had selections like Learn to Fly by the Foo Fighters, a personal favorite of mine, Crazy Train, Ozzy Osbourne, Enter Sandman, Metallica. I was listening to that one on my way in today. City of Blinding Lights, U2. And in Aki and Thomas' car, Drops of Jupiter. That is a classic, Paradise City by Guns N' Roses, and, of course, Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins.
Yeah. Little Top Gun action. I love it. And, Tracy, this is the same pad, of course, that you launched from years ago.
Yes, very fond memories of it on my flight. So we got out of the Astrovan. The pilot on our flight on STS-118, Charlie Hobaugh, who we called Scorch, paused and looked up at the stack, and he stopped my crewmate, fellow rookie, Barbara Morgan, and I to pause and take a look at this mammoth spacecraft we were about to fly on, because he said this is going to be the last time you see this view. And I'll never forget that moment. It was very meaningful to me. I cherish it. But Barbara and I realized we got to hurry up. We don't want to miss our first launch. And so we scooted on, and he stayed there pausing to look at it. And I'll always remember that.
So there we can see Shane and Megan have made their way up the tower. They're now climbing the stairs to the level where the crew arm is located.
And we can see the astronauts inside the crew access arm. That walkway here are Commander Shane Kimbrough and pilot Megan McArthur. Making their way up behind them are ESA astronaut Thomas Pesquet and JAXA astronaut Akihiko Hoshide. And we'll be seeing them make their way up. There they are, coming up the steps. And they'll be stopping to use the phone. Shane and Megan already had the opportunity to do that. That phone is up where you see the person in the black suit. That looks like Jessica Meir, number 38, part of the closeout team at the pad. And this is a shot inside the white room. Astronaut Shane Kimbrough to the left of your screen, and to the right you can see the side hatch of the Crew Dragon Endeavour is open in preparation for the next milestone, which will be crew ingress in just a few minutes.
And we got some really cool views of the second two astronauts walking through the crew arm, making their way to the Dragon capsule. And to help protect against debris, the crew has covers on their boots as well as on their umbilical port on their suits that need to be removed before they can ingress. And once the FOD check was complete for the first two astronauts, Commander Shane Kimbrough ingressed first, followed by Megan. And then next up we will have Aki and Thomas, who just made it to the white room that you can see on your left-hand screen. And we got a cool view looking from outside of the Dragon capsule in through the hatchway. And some fist bumps there from the suit techs to the astronauts.
It's an exciting day for everyone, really. The anticipation, I can't even imagine. You want to, just seeing the pilots and the commanders from previous missions accessing the panel, wanting to get through their checklists. You know they're really soaking in this moment, but at the same time, they are thinking about those next steps. What do I have to do to prepare to make sure we're ready to launch on time today?
Exactly. They must be so excited, but this is their job at the moment, right? They're actually...
SpaceX Endeavour, we're in section 1.3, ready for comm checks.
SpaceX copies. Stand by for umbilical comm check.
And you can see on your screen that seat rotation has now begun. They are rotating from upright to the recline launch position. And this will give Shane Kimbrough and Megan McArthur access to those display panels right above them. And it's very slow and steady, but this is a pretty cool view that we have here on our screen.
An amazing view, really.
You can see how much cargo space we have under those seats as well.
Dragon SpaceX seats are in the launch position.
Copy. Great news.
As you can see, we are preparing for the closure of the side hatch. The closeout team there in the black SpaceX flight suits that you see have performed a final FOD check, and they've gotten the final okay from the crew inside the capsule to confirm that they are indeed ready to go to space today. As you can see, the side hatch has just been closed. This is a little bit more complicated than it may seem. So it's this initial closure, and then there will be actual mechanical closure using a torque wrench, which we should see here momentarily. Might be, yeah, we can see that happening now. And then afterward, we will inflate the seal that's around the side hatch in order to do that leak check. We'll inflate the seal, apply a pressure basically, and make sure that the hatch is able to hold that designated pressure for a couple of minutes.
Crew access arm retraction started.
There you see a live view of the crew access arm retracting away from Crew Dragon in preparation for launch. Shortly thereafter, we should hear the call out that the launch escape system is armed, and from there, we'll hear that Falcon 9 prop load has started, which is one of my favorite milestones of the launch countdown.
There's a shot of the space station. There it is.
Yeah.
Everybody wave.
They're waving down at us. I think they're watching right now. So.
They are. You know they are.
Yeah. Hi, guys.
Hi.
We see you. So that's super cool.
Dragon SpaceX confirmed crew displays are configured for launch.
Displays are configured for launch.
SpaceX copies. Shane, Megan, Aki, Thomas. We're thrilled to have crew on board Endeavour once again, and truly honored to have you all at the helm. It's been a pleasure training alongside you ahead of this historic launch. We wish you a great mission, good luck, and enjoy the ride.
Thank you, Chad, Christian, Frank, and all the teams who got our crew and vehicle ready for this mission. I want to say a special thank you to our families and friends. We're incredibly grateful for your support and sacrifice during our training and our upcoming flight. Our crew is flying astronauts from NASA, ESA, and JAXA, which hasn't happened in over 20 years. We're excited to represent our nations, agencies, and all of humanity. Off the Earth, for the Earth, Endeavour is ready to go.
All right, some celebratory handshakes from inside the Crew Dragon. That was the voice of the Corps, Chad Healy, here in Mission Control Hawthorne.
Dragon has transitioned to terminal count and is on internal power. Stage 1 LOX load is complete. Gas closeout has started. Expect loud venting.
Dragon is also in auto idle. The flight computers on Dragon maintaining their calculations, standing by, waiting for the T0 mark. 1 minute, 15 seconds until launch. The 1 minute mark, Dragon will transition to countdown and the flight termination system will arm. The computers on Falcon 9 will be talking to the computers on Dragon and can issue an abort if necessary.
FTS is armed. Falcon 9 is in startup and is now controlling. Dragon is in countdown.
All right, 50 seconds to go. Everything is ready for an on-time launch today.
Dragon, SpaceX, go for launch.
Copy, go for launch.
Ground teams are ready and the crew inside Dragon is ready. 30 seconds to go until launch.
Seconds. T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Mission and liftoff. Godspeed, Endeavour and Crew-2.
Copy, 1 Alpha.
Endeavour launches once again. 4 astronauts from 3 countries on Crew-2, now making their way to the one and only International Space Station. The vehicle is pitching downrange. 9 Merlin engines on the first stage, providing 1.7 billion pounds of thrust. Hearing good calls on first stage performance so far.
We are T plus 30 seconds into the second rotational crew mission on board Dragon and Falcon 9. Falcon 9 will be throttling down the 9 Merlin engines shortly here in preparation for maximum dynamic pressure. And there's that call out for the throttle down. Maximum dynamic pressure, or max Q, is the largest structural load that the vehicle sees throughout ascent. So throttling down does help us pass. Supersonic. Throttling down helps us pass through this period, which should be coming here shortly.
Max Q.
There's that call out that we have just passed through max Q.
Stage 1, throttle up.
And
1 Bravo.
Copy, 1 Bravo.
All right, 1 Bravo is the second abort mode on the first stage. First stage continues to fire for 2 minutes, 35 seconds. 1.5 minutes into today's flight. Falcon 9 now traveling at more than 1,500 miles an hour.
MVAC engine chill started.
All right, the engine chill for the second stage single Merlin engine has started. About 30 more seconds of the first stage firing to bring our 4 astronauts into orbit.
Now from here, coming up in about 20-some seconds, we're going to have 3 major milestones. We'll have shutdown of the 9 Merlin engines. We're beginning to throttle them down. We will then get stage separation.
Throttle down.
And then we will get ignition of the second stage engine to propel Dragon and the Falcon 9 second stage into orbit.
Two Alpha.
Copy, 2 Alpha.
Confirmed.
Acquisition signal right.
Ignition.
And we have ignition of the second stage. You see the green flash of that T-TEB fluid. The expansion nozzle on the second stage Merlin vacuum glowing that bright red that we like to see. Good performance on the second stage so far.
And on the left side of your screen, we saw the exhaust of the second stage engine streaming past the first stage as the grid fins are coming out. We also briefly had a view of the lights of Central Florida in the background. Currently, the first stage is continuing to coast up to apogee, it's unpowered, it'll reach a peak height and then begin to descend back down toward the Earth's atmosphere, where it will light 3 engines to slow down in preparation for what will be a landing burn on the drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean. You can see the grid fins are deployed right now. The first stage,
Dragon,
pulsing.
SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
We're pulsing the thrusters.
Signal Bermuda.
Copy, nominal trajectory.
And we hear a call out from the crew, nominal trajectory. So we're beginning to move the first stage into position so it can do the entry burn.
Dragon, SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
Copy, nominal trajectory.
Right on cue, those check-ins on the second stage performance. Once a minute, everything's looking good on that second stage.
Propulsion is nominal.
Stage 2 continues to climb. The vehicle now exceeding 8,000 miles an hour at an altitude of about 124 miles.
And just about 1 minute from now, we will begin the entry burn of the first stage. That'll consist of lighting the center engine, and then shortly afterwards, 2 more engines for a 3-engine burn to slow down the first stage in preparation for entering the Earth's atmosphere.
Dragon, SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
Copy, nominal trajectory.
Another check-in, and the crew confirming they're hearing the same thing. The vehicle about to exceed about 10,000 miles per hour.
Meanwhile, first stage down at 90 kilometers, getting ready to relight 3 engines for the entry burn.
Stage 2 FTS has safed.
We've got the center engine ignition, and there come the 2 side engines. Now this entry burn will last about 29 seconds. It's going to significantly slow down the vehicle in preparation for hitting the denser part of the Earth's atmosphere. Entry burn complete. We're down below 35 kilometers, continuing to look good on the first stage, heading to the Atlantic Ocean for a landing on the drone ship.
While second stage is less than a minute away from cutoff.
Stage 2 in terminal guidance.
Shannon.
Copy, Shannon.
Shannon called out at the back end of the stage 2, a few seconds until cutoff.
MVAC shutdown.
Dragon, SpaceX, launch escape system disarmed.
Launch escape system disarmed. Copy.
Dragon, SpaceX, nominal orbit insertion.
Copy, nominal orbital insertion.
All right, the Falcon 9 second stage has done its job, delivering our 4 crew into orbit.
You hear the applause here in Hawthorne. We're waiting to get a video signal back from the drone ship. Of course, I still love you. And the view from the onboard camera, we saw it just briefly. It looks like first stage on the drone ship. Getting views of the Dragon trunk. So the first stage is on the drone ship, successfully landed. And more importantly, second stage is in a nominal orbit with the Dragon spacecraft, getting ready for some important events coming up, Gary.
That's right. About 2 more minutes. The Dragon and the second stage of the Falcon 9 will be in a coast phase. It'll take that long until the spacecraft separates from the Falcon 9. Of course, both now in a nominal orbit. It's great to see some of the views of the Earth as it passes by over the North Atlantic Ocean. All right, we're getting shots of the crew in orbit. I'm looking for that 0G indicator. Can't seem to see it in this shot, but we have a minute to go until we have spacecraft separation. Dragon traveling at nearly 17,000 miles per hour at an altitude of 124 miles. Again, the 4-person crew of Endeavour is in orbit right now. Less than 30 seconds until we have spacecraft separation. Ten seconds to spacecraft separation. We should hear words from the core here in Mission Control Hawthorne once we have successful separation. Dragon separation confirmed.
Dragon, SpaceX, I think you wishes you a great rest of your trip. Say hi to the crew Dragon is waiting for us and let them know your rocket is home safe. Thanks for flying our first flight-proven crewed Falcon 9. See you Aerospace Crew-2.
Thank you very much. We're great. It's glad to be back in space for all of us, and we'll send our regards to Crew 1 when we get there. Thanks.
Absolutely stunning views from both inside the cabin, seeing the excitement of our 4-person crew inside Endeavour, and watching Endeavour drift away from the camera on the second stage as the Earth passes by on an orbital sunrise.
Hello, everyone. Welcome on board Endeavour. We're a couple hours into the flight, making our second lap around the Earth. Right now, we're over kind of eastern South Africa, so it's really great looking out our windows, and we get to see some pretty cool stuff up here. But we had an incredible launch. Hopefully, you guys got to watch it this morning. Right as the sun was rising, we took off. We chased the sun pretty quickly and caught it up just a few minutes after we took off. That was pretty special to see the sunlight coming in shortly after liftoff. We're going to show you around the vehicle real quick, and hope you guys really enjoy it. And I'll pass it over to our pilot, McArthur.
Hello, Earth. It's great to be back in space again after a few years for me. The ascent was incredible. The ride was really smooth. We couldn't have asked for anything better. There may have been some hooting and giggling up here while all that was going on. We hope you enjoyed the show as well. I'm kind of relearning. I'm like a baby bird here, relearning how to move around in microgravity. It feels really good, but it feels a little bit weird too. Fortunately, it's a nice small space that I can relearn to move around together. I'm going to hand it over to Thomas, who's going to show you around a little bit of what I up here.
Thanks, Megan. Hi, everyone. I'm Thomas, Mission Special Hub, your tour guide today in the Crew Dragon Endeavour capsule. Thanks for flying with us. Welcome on board. Our commander, Shane Kimbrough. Welcome your pilot, McArthur. Also, and next will be Akihiko Hoshide. So as you see, it's pretty roomy. The ride up was fantastic. This is the hatch behind this. of space, harsh temperature, bad environment, bad stuff. Inside, very comfy. We feel very well protected. Everything is great. If you get closer, you can get a view out the window, and I'll try to give you that if the cable is long enough. And this is what we get to see. Coming up on Madagascar, but it's cloudy. I don't think you get a good view. But we'll try to get pictures, and I can show you maybe the cargo area down there, because this vehicle is bringing people up to space, but also cargo. And if you follow me, and I'm going to flip and try not to make everybody sick, down there is where we have a little cargo. There's freezers. This is our suits, nicely packed. This is some more cargo. We have our water landing equipment. And this is all nice and tidy. And behind those walls are a lot of other equipment that we need, clothes, food, and etc. So with that, now that you're familiar with the capsule, I'm going to hand you over to Akihiko Hoshide, Aki for short, from JAXA, and he's going to give you some more information.
Hello, Earthlings. One thing, this capsule looks just like our mock-up simulator in Hawthorne, except you can't do this because we're upside down, and this is actually the hatch that goes to the International Space Station. And once we dock, we're going to open this hatch and get on board and see our friends who are up there right now. Now, we have a fifth crew member, and as you can see, Shin is holding him right now, but he can actually fly. It's a penguin that our boys chose, and his name is Gwyn. Welcome, Gwyn, to space.
That was really cool seeing Gwyn start flying after we hit 0G. Tomorrow, Aki talked about we're going to dock to the International Space Station. It's going to be around 5 a.m. Eastern Time in the U.S. Hope you guys can join us for that, but it's going to be great to get on that forward port on the space station and join our friends there. Crew 1 is on board along with Expedition 65, a couple Russians, and Mark Vandehei. So we're looking forward to joining that crew and having a big time up there with 11 people on board. Megan, any closing words?
And I think we can just show folks kind of what our environment looks like up here, Shane. These are the displays that we use to monitor the spacecraft systems through all the different phases of flight. So we had displays up, of course, during ascent, and then we'll have some ability to monitor the docking sequence as well. All of the burns that will get us closer to the space station. We'll eventually be able to see different kinds of images of the space station on our screens as we get closer. And then, of course, once we contact the space station, we'll monitor the docking system mechanism using these displays as well. So it's pretty neat to see the touch screens and all the different facilities that they have. We can bring up different systems pages while we're working through the different activities. So those are something neat to see. Rather than the old-timey steam gauges, we have these pretty cool touch screens that we can use.
One thing I'll add before we sign off is Thomas noticed a little while ago, after we were getting out of our suits, he looked out the window when he saw our second stage pretty much flying in formation with us just underneath us, and that was very special. So we all rushed to the windows to look at that for a little while. So that was pretty cool. So we're enjoying our first day on orbit. So we got a lot more to go as we dock with the International Space Station. Have a great day. Okay, take care. So long from Endeavour.
Well, thank you so much for sharing those views with us and giving us a glimpse into life on board Dragon and letting us meet Gwyn. Thank you again.
And that was an awesome